Hey guys, Aqua Duelist here. Today's video I want to talk about something that particularly pertains to Dinomist players. And that's three things bad Dinomist players believe. The first thing is they believe Dinomist Rush is a good card. In case you don't know what it does, it is a trap and its effects read. You can special summon one Dinomist monster from the one Dinomist monster from the deck is unaffected by card effects, but it's destroyed during the end phase of this turn. You can only activate Dinomist Rush once per turn. So, sure, it might sound good. It might sound like a good idea on paper. But playing it, it's not a good card. The players who believe it's a good card always run it at 3 and say it is a staple at 3. Reasons why it's not a good card is because it's really slow, and you can only activate one per turn. So if you have two, you have to wait 2 turns. You have to essentially wait 2 turns to activate both, or use 2 turns to activate both. So then they take up your back row, and there's other cards you're gonna want to put in that back row. Let's be honest here. You're gonna want to play. You're gonna want to play Dinomist Rush, or not Rush, Charge, and you're gonna want to play like Pod Desires. There's just other cards that are better. And also, another reason why, last reason why Rush is a bad card is it's a very bricky card. I only ran it at 1 in my original build, just because I was like, and I never wanted to see that card. I never wanted to draw into it, because if I did, essentially, I have to wait a turn to get a Dinomist that I want, when I could have just drew a Dinomist instead in its place. So it's just too slow of a card to play, and also bricky and something you don't want to see. It was the reason why Dinomist players probably believe, or bad Dinomist players like, oh, we run it at 3, was because Brent Williams played 3 of it in a card demise version. I think like it was back in Zoo format, and that's great. And it was a good deck. The only issue is card demise isn't viable in Dinomist anymore, just because the pendulum scales get moved, so we have very limited back row. It's not that good. Second thing they believe, Dinomist Charge is like Jesus, or is like the second coming. Now, this is a good card. It's a staple of 3, but the thing here is, well, yes, it's a good card. Yes, it's a good card. They have this thing where if you play a card that negates the second effect or something, then you're a scrub. They believe this card it's got to be on the fields at all costs, and it's got it's like they kind of want to protect the castle with it and rely on it too much. As you've seen, my deck can play it. It does good with it, but even if I don't get that, even if I don't draw the rush, I can still make charge. I can still make that board, no problem. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because last format I did side deck a mistake, and there was a lot of controversy about that in the Dinomist community I used to be part of. But the thing was, I sided for Sky Strikers and a couple other things played locally here at the time. But the thing is, whenever I played Mistake, I never actually it never caused me any problem. Sorry, my wrist is itchy. It's like it never caused any problems for me at all. And there was like 2 times where I did have rush or charge on the field, and I didn't losing that last effect of putting a Dinomist card, or like if a Dinomist would go to the extra deck, I could put it to my hand. Didn't really do much. The last thing bad Dinomist players believe, they will lie to themselves and say that pretty much believe and think that they always get off Terran's effect, where you run over a monster, you search it for a Dinomist card, add to your hand. The thing is, we rarely ever get that effect off. To be honest, there's only like 2 times I ever got that off. One was I happened to set. I had him, played him, and then set like 2 back row, and one of them was limiter removal. And another time was when I had like 2 Plethos on the field, and I think I had a Mistar Boy too. I can't remember, but I had 2 Plethos and a Bateran and some scales and a charge, so they lost like 1,000. No, like 1,200. Or all our monsters lost 1,200, so I was able to run over something. But that's not going to come up. That scenario doesn't come up too often, because usually you tend to go into like your extra deck, so unless you're playing a very control build, which will happen a bit more often, which I was playing a very aggressive control variant at the time, still didn't happen a whole lot. But that's the 3 things that bad Dinomist players believe. If you believe this stuff, I'm sorry, man. I mean, I know you're probably gonna hate me, but I want you to get better. I want you to get better. So, for those of you who watch this who are getting, oh man, he's wrong. He's all wrong. But go ahead, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Comment if you'd like to. And the last Dinomist video will be up Monday. At that point, the only things Dinomist related that'll pop up will be like duels, or if I decide to make a second variant, which is more of the control, aggressive board control like they're supposed to be played.